Hello, and it's time for another video. How are you doing? Summer break is coming to an end, and I'm sure you've had a great time. If you're new here, my name is Chioma Moma, and I'm one of those people who believes that yes, with God, all things are possible. You can fulfill your career aspirations and goals, and you can raise amazing children. I'm here with also all sorts of tips and things you can do as we're raising these children that God has given us, that God has blessed us with. And one thing that we're in this going back to school season, so I have a lot of things, a lot of resources in that direction. I just finished a seminar on how to help your children choose the right university. And if you want to be part of that, if you want to glean from that knowledge, you better go and get that session on my seller store. Very impactful, full of resources. It has everything: funding, your child's personality, things to look out for when you're choosing, helping your child choose the right university. Very, very, very important. And in fact, had a few people request an ebook, so I might do an ebook on that. But for now, the video is there. Go download it. Get that knowledge. Is important. So I'm going to university. Let's start with the basics. If I had $1 for every time somebody asked me which school should my child go to, I cannot tell you how much money I would have, on that topic alone. So it's very important. We're raising children, we want them to be XYZ, do all sorts of lofty and great things, and we want them to be well educated, we want them to go to good schools. If we're going to homeschool them, we want them to have the best curriculum in the homeschool. Whatever we do, we want our children to go to get the best when it comes to education. And from the earlier stage, it's something, it's on the front burner. It's a pressing, burning issue for most parents. Where will my child go to school? So at the earlier stage, let's go stage by stage. So from the earlier stage, primary, nursery, primary, there are some things that are really, really important. One of them is proximity. How close is your home or your office to your child's school? This is very important. If you live UK, US, Canada, abroad, they will not even admit your child to a school that is not in your area. They use your zip code or whatever to see, oh, these are the schools that your child will go to, because they want your child to either be a worker, whether it's a boy, but they want it to be close proximity. It's important because, God forbid, you want to reach your child at short notice. You need to be there, and it makes your life easier. Drop off your child and go to work. Not that you're doing cross country, 45 minutes just to drop your child in school. So proximity is very, very important, especially when the children are younger. So that's a very key one. Then the child's school, what is their curriculum? What do they teach? In Nigeria, for instance, we have schools that do all sorts of different things. Some of them mix Nigerian and British curriculum. Some of them have only, strictly foreign, strictly Nigerian, whatever it is. Find out if it's the best for your child. Try and understand the curriculum, and also try and understand the ethos of the school. What is the school about? What do they say that they want to do beyond educating your child? How do they want to educate your child? Are they towards, what is their, what are their value? What's their value system? Try and find out. Obviously, before you take your child to any school, primary, nursery, you must go and see that school. It's very important. Inspect the school, see if it's somewhere your child will feel comfortable. Go with your child. I would suggest going with your child if possible. See the environment, see how well kept it is. If the school is sanitary, they're doing the right things in terms of making sure it's a secure, a safe environment for your child. Look at safety things like hazardous material around. There are wires that are exposed in the school. Look out for things like that. It's very, very important. I think that's very important are your child's needs. This is actually number one. Your child's needs. Can the school meet your child's needs? I'm not just talking about whether your child has special needs or not. That's also very important. If your child has special needs, of course, the school needs to be able to meet your child's needs. But beyond that, your child's learning style, different things about your child. Do you think your child will thrive in that environment, in that school environment? So look at your child. What does your child need? Make sure the school can cater to your child's needs. This cuts across nursery, primary, very, very important. And you look into this. There's so many other things, that you can talk about. And I would, drop a few more things. I have all sorts of videos on this topic. So I'll try and say, and put links up to those videos so you can see them. But these are just a few things that are so important when you're looking at the school. And then also very important, and it cuts across from nursery, primary, secondary, university. Cost. What are the cost implications for that school? Are you going to be borrowing money to pay your children's school fees? Are you going to go without food to pay your children's school fees? try and do what you can afford. There's sometimes that you might have to push yourself to get, to do what you need to do. That times, especially, at the university level, I know people who have had to, you know, let go of property or whatever because they're trying to educate their child. But at the early stage, please, I beg you, try and cut your coat according to yourself. In fact, at every stage, cut it. Don't, it shouldn't be you can't eat food again because your child is going to school. There's schools at every level that cost different things. Try and find what fits your pocket. It's important that your child is very educated, but it should not be at the expense of the whole family, because after that child has gone to school, nobody will eat again. So you need to be careful about that. Cost is very, very, very important in ensuring you give your child the best education that you want them to. You should be able to afford it. Okay, so go around the school, inspect the school, and see what they have for you. Now, let's go to secondary. I've talked a bit about nursery, primary. Let's go to the secondary school. Now, if you know me well, you know that I'm not really into boarding school, but boarding schools have a lot of advantages as well. So I will not rule them out completely. No, sometimes if you know you're the kind of parent, maybe you do not have time at all for whatever reason, you should have time for your child. But at times there's some boarding schools that are well equipped and are able to help you instill great values in your child. So if you're going to do boarding school, these are some things I will also say that are very, very important. Again, the proximity issue. Your child is going to boarding school, please try not to send them too far. If you're sending them out of state, for instance, try and send them to a state that has an airport or somewhere that you can reach if you need to travel easy. Not the one that the child is somewhere, you have to you enter one flight, come down, drive 3-4 hours, stand up, try as make it as easy for you as possible. Okay? So when you need to reach your child or your child needs to reach you, it is easier. Communication. If your child is in boarding school, let there be a way your child can reach you. In those days, it was letters that were write to our parents. These days, a lot of schools, they have a phone line where maybe with the headmaster or headmistress, where you can reach them at certain times. They have rules. It shouldn't be something that your child shouldn't be, shouldn't have a device, in the boarding school and, and be calling you freely, because trust me, the way they can call you freely is the way they can call any man that, all sorts of, men, people who they shouldn't be speaking to, not just men, women, whoever, can have easy access to them. So a school that has lax laws, around phone use and communication is not a plus. So they should have those rules, but you should be able to reach your child, and your child should be able to reach you when necessary. So that's very, very important. Okay, and then if possible, if you have more than one child, it's nice if they're in the same boarding school. That way, big brother, big sister is looking out for the little one. It helps them. It helps them, draw strength from each other. They encourage each other. They are, able to do well together. Now, it's not compulsory. I'm just giving my suggestions on things that I think help. I've seen it help. I was in a boarding school where I didn't have any siblings, but I noticed that those who had siblings, there was something. They had this extra spring in their step because they knew they had big sister that was there for them, and they were able to settle into school much quicker than those of us that did not have any siblings. It's something I saw with so many of them that had, big sisters in the school. I went to an all-girls school, and there was something about those girls who came and had older sisters in the school. It really gave them a lot of confidence while they settled into school. So if if you can put them in the same school, then please, by all means, do that. Also, you must be a present parent. What do I mean by being a present parent? Your child is in boarding school. How can you be present? You can be present. There are some children who, some parents, the school knows them. Whether their child is in Kafanchan or in Kano or in Lagos or in Ibadan, wherever the school is, the parent is on top of it. Visiting days, they are there. They have the numbers of the staff that they need to have the numbers of. They are in touch with them. They take part in PTA activities when they need to be there. They are there. They are there. And the school knows that this parent is involved in their child's life. They're not going to mess with your child. I'm not saying that they should mess with anybody's child, but you need to be present. It makes a whole lot of difference in the way your child will be in school and the way the school will even perceive your child. So you need to be there for your child, even if your child is not at home. Be present. Don't miss those visiting days and all that. If you have to miss them, let your child have a guardian. That's why it's important when you're sending your child to a boarding school, look for a boarding school that's in a city where you have a family presence or a family friend presence, somebody that can help you check on the child when possible. I had this, friends, their children were all in the same school in one city. They had a kind of like a partnership. So this visiting day, this mom will go. The next visiting day, that mom will go. So they took turns to look after each other's, children on those visiting days. That way, every time, even if they missed one visiting day, the child never felt, oh, mommy is not here. So you have to find something that works so that the child always knows that there's somebody around them, or if they need to travel quickly, they need to be out of school quickly, somebody can easily go to their school, whether it's in Ibadan or wherever, and pick them up. These are things that need to be looked at. So many other points. Like I said, I have a video on this particular topic of boarding school. So I will put the link to it so you can always watch and learn more from it. Now I'm going to quickly move to university. We had this whole great session on how to choose university. So I will tell you again, go and get that session. Go and get it. It's great value. It's still at I'm doing a discount right now. You can get it for, I'm not sure of the amount, so I have to check, but it's discounted right now. So you can go get it, download it, watch it. It's about 1.5 hours. It's fantastic. Get all the information you need to get. But I will give you a few tips in this video for university. I'm here. Settling children to university is not easy. So now you're thinking, does proximity matter as much as for secondary, primary and nursery? No, I do not think it does. So many other things matter a bit more. Your child is older, they're more mature, they're able to take decisions on their own, they're able to travel on their own. You don't have to go and pick them from school. So even if they're in Thailand, or they're in or wherever states, they can take a plane and travel on their own. But some things still need to be in place. They still need to have an adult around them. They still need a guardian, especially when they're young adults. It really helps when they have someone. When there are those small breaks, for instance, in the US, they have all sorts of breaks, Thanksgiving, this one, in the UK, all sorts of breaks come. At times, everybody's out of campus. If your child can stay on campus because the schools will allow them to stay, no problem. But it's nice to have somewhere they can go, where they can go and say, okay, I'm going to visit my auntie, I'm going to visit my uncle for that few days where campus is empty. So it's good to have somebody there. Or something happens, emergency, you need to send money urgently, or somebody falls ill, anything can happen. You need to have someone who can get to them quickly within the hour and say, okay, I'm here. This needs to be done. These things happen. There have been all sorts of situations where you need to reach a child and there's nobody around for hours and hours, nobody that can reach that child. So it's good, no matter where the child is going to look at the fact that, especially for the young adults. But yes, I will say it again, proximity is not as important at that stage as it is with the younger stages. You're dealing with the young adults. They should have independence. They should be able to, go to school themselves. You're not going to have to drop them in school or any of that. No. For the initial stage when they're, starting university, if you can afford to go with them for their first stage, why not? I am an advocate for it. Some people will say, oh, there's no need. They can go on their own, to be honest. A child of, I'm thinking they should be 17, 18, 19. They should go to school on their own if they can. But if you can go with them, you should absolutely go. Why? Because for many of them, that transition after university, they might never live in your house again. That's the honest truth. Especially if they're schooling in somewhere like the States. From university, they're owning their first home and they're moving on with life, getting a job in whichever states. It's just to be visiting you. So there's nothing wrong with going and seeing where they live, meeting their roommates, helping them settle into this new life. It's a major step for them from being a child to being a young adult. It's really, really major. They have to take a lot of decisions that if you're in the US, they might not even, unless they give you permission, you won't even have access to a lot of the things they are doing, their results. Nobody's going to send you reports in university. It's the child that, if the child decides to give you access. So they are independent. So you're not going to treat them the way you're treating your child in secondary or primary school. These are big, big grown-up people. So you have to give them that leeway and encourage their independence. So proximity, no, is not that important. But I would still say, especially when they're starting out, try and see if you can get somebody around them just for those, situations where you might need someone to, them to reach somewhere, when they need to go on holiday or whatever it is. I think that's really important is the course. Gone are the days, I keep on saying this, gone are the days when you choose a course for your child. My mother chose law for me, and I thank God she did. No regrets, to be honest, no regrets per se. But I would have been better suited to another course. But I'm happy she gave me that guidance because I would have studied something I was totally unsuited for, totally unsuited for. So I'm happy she gave me and said, okay, you know what, do something in the arts. But maybe it shouldn't have been law per se. Maybe it should have been something. Honestly, I don't even know what I would have studied. But thank God she intervened. But the situation where you see a child who you can see is a very dramatic child, has acting skills, is a performer, and she says, oh, I want to do theater arts, and you now force her and say, no, you must be a doctor. Come on now. you don't want to frustrate that child. You don't need that to do that to that child, okay? Or you see a child who has shown that they have a love for a certain, maybe they have a love for you let me think, tech. Well, everybody likes tech courses. I can't use that example. Let me say a child that loves animals, and you're saying no, you cannot do anything that has to do with animals. You must go and become a lawyer. Why now? We need to encourage our children to do the things that they love, where they will thrive, where they will naturally excel in, where God has given it. If you look at everybody, even yourself, look at what you liked as a child. It will show you what you will even like as an adult. God gave us those things from ab initio, from when He wired you and He gave birth to you. He put those things in you. When I look at my early reports, from day one, my teachers always wrote my report. Trauma likes to read, Trauma likes to talk. Talk, read, creative. So, hello, what am I doing now? I'm an author, I talk, I'm a public speaker, I'm a coach. Those things tune into what, the things that God called me from ab initio. I've always been that person who, loves to help people and cares about people. So it's always shown. So look at those things your child loves to do and guide them appropriately. Do not force them to study anything. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor and you did not, your JAM score was not high enough. You now say, hey, this one is brilliant, you must be a doctor. Does she want to be a doctor? Does she have an interest in medicine? That someone is brilliant does not mean they should study medicine. I have a lot of people who are really brilliant and they excelled in other courses, in other fields. But some of them, they were forced to study medicine, they dropped it immediately. Dropped their stethoscope and they are doing different things. So many of them, same with law. So we need to be careful how we try and live vicariously through our children in terms of forcing them to do certain things. I know you're brilliant, you will do it. I want to be, answer the child of a lawyer or a doctor. Gone are the days. There's so many interesting courses that are not that conventional and people are making a lot of money from them. So please encourage your children to do what they love. Okay? That's very, very important. Again, the cost issue comes up. We always talk about it. I talk about it a lot in the in the session I mentioned about where I spoke about helping guide your children, Nigeria or abroad. Please, I'm going to give this warning. Do not do anything because it's the trend. Okay? Have your reason. Find out your why. You might say, oh, I want my child to school here, I want my child to school there. My first child is in Ghana, and happily so. A lot of people will say, how come your second is in, is in the States? They're different children, they want different things, they have different needs. I won't go into it, but they are both thriving and both very happy with the choices that they made with our help. Okay? So one thing, is not a one size fits all situation. Some people will say, oh, I want to see my child abroad. The child will go abroad and they are not happy, they don't want to be abroad. You look at your child, this is a child that always wants to be at home, likes coming home often. Going to the US might not work for that child. Okay, or a child that you need to store money, so maybe for whatever reason, so think of different things. But I always tell you that cost is a big factor. Thank God there's scholarships, thank God there's a lot of funding, and I talk about that a lot again also in my session or my webinar about Get Back to School, helping your child choose the right university. You must take advantage of those things because university education can be very expensive. There's no university education, nowhere is it very cheap. Okay, even the public schools in Nigeria where they are reasonably priced, you still have to pay for your child to go to school. Their cost of living in school, it costs a pretty penny. So schools, school fees are quite expensive for higher, higher school, for tertiary education, aka universities or in the US colleges. So prepare for it. Some people start saving from when their child is born for college, just to show you how how the cost can add up. So if you've not been saving, if you don't have that, just look there. Even if you have the money, funding opportunities do exist, so explore them. They exist not only in Nigeria, but in different, not only in Nigeria, but abroad, in the US, especially, UK, Canada, a lot of money opportunities exist. Lancaster University, where I do a lot of work with them. They have a lot of great funding, especially for their first year students. So you want to explore all these options. If you need to contact me for any more information about any of these universities, please send me a message, send me a DM, or put something in the comments and you can reach me. So cost is important, the cost is important, and of course the child, extra number one. Your child is very important. That is the person that is going to school. You have to look at different things concerning your child and what will suit your child, okay? And if the school you want to send them to will suit them, and if they will suit the school, there's so many things to consider. And like I said, I went in depth on that. Look at some schools do some courses better than other schools. You have to look at that. So there's so many things to look at. So I would encourage you to take part in this that webinar. I'll be mentioning it because it's something I think is really it's for me. I'm like, when I got all that information, it really helped me make an informed decision about my children, considering the university they go to, and I want to share that information with you parents, because I know it is not easy. University is a whole different ball game. Parents, it doesn't get easy. If you think looking for nursery and primary for your child is easy, and then or it's hard rather, and the other ones are easy, I will tell you no. At every stage it is difficult. Even the university, who knows, it might even be a bit more difficult. So at every stage you have different things to consider. So please, I think I have this back to school thing that's for like nursery, primary. I think it's free on my page. You go there, download it. It's a chart. It will help you structure your children's day, their week, as they get ready for school. Have you gotten your stuff for school, the biros, pens? Please go get them. Don't be doing last minute runs. I'm going to start rushing to buy their snacks that morning from that vendor down the road. Stock up now. Start getting their stuff together now. A lot of parents might say, I don't want to buy too many things because my children will start eating them at the wrong time. Buy them and keep them properly. And talk to your children. They should learn to obey. This biscuit is for school. Do not touch it. Children must learn to obey authority, those in authority, and you are in authority over them in that home. So stock up, instruct them, keep them safely, or keep them away, and begin to get your child ready for school. If they are going to bed late, begin to tell them to wind down now. Their bedtime should start changing. Don't wait until school opens and you start saying go to bed at 8 o'clock. No, from now, they should start going to bed early so that the clocks are now in tune with this new thing that they need as they start school. I'm talking about the younger children now. Even for the older ones, my son used to go to bed quite late because this is the boy that's 18. But now he has classes 9 a.m. So of course, on his own, he knows that, look, I need to go to bed earlier so that I can be awake early, get ready for school, and be in class on time, okay? Things you need to also do, get your children's timetable. I mean, across board. Not for anything, no, just to have the information. Once in university, I need to call my son. You know that this is not the time to call him, he's in class. So what are you calling him for? Get the information, have it. And then most importantly, as you prepare your children for school, number one thing we need to do, pray for your child. Pray for them. They will have a good term, a good session in the mighty name of Jesus. They are blessed. God will be with them. They will have good teachers. They will get the best. If they're not getting the best, do not worry. Take it to God again in prayer. God will help you, will give you insight on where you need to change them to or move them to. And it shall be well with them this term. They shall be safe. They shall be secure in the mighty name of Jesus. If you've enjoyed this video, please share with other people and let me know what you want us to talk about. Okay, enjoy all the resources I have for you, and God bless you. Take care and have a great day.